Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Paulina here. I'm in the Mary Square here in Munich, Germany, and I'm very happy to see you. It's a beautiful day and I'll show you where I am. So behind me here is the statue of Mary on the pole, if you can see, and she apparently saved the town. There's an interesting story about this, and it looks like the glockenspiel behind me here, I mean in front of me here. Behind me now, the glockenspiel. So that thing here is about to go. It's like a town's tradition, and as you can see there's many people behind me waiting to film the glockenspiel in action, and I'm going to go somewhere a little bit more private to talk to you. So the glockenspiel is going off now. As you can hear the crazy music in the background, very out of tune, very Munich. So I'm in the capital of many things. I'm in the capital of beer, capital of Bavaria in Germany, and I'm also in the capital of Nazi movement as well. So it's quite an interesting way here. I'm doing a lot of soul cleansing and soul searching here, but why I wanted to talk to you is for a very simple reason. I feel that a lot of people have lost their way in the last centuries due to self-sacrifice. And self-sacrifice because people have perhaps thought that to get something they have to lose something, which is right. It is right, but it is also wrong, because people thought they had to sacrifice themselves, their time and their lives and their journeys in order to get themselves clean and in order to get themselves prosperous. And I'm here at the beginning of Virgo, as we've just passed the black moon and the solar eclipse, and I'm gonna tell you, stop doing that. Stop sacrificing your time and start thinking straight. To do anything you have to sacrifice something else, because we only get a certain quota of energy. There's very little of us people that can be unlimited in what we do, and usually the people who are unlimited in what they do and where they've come to be are saints. So people that have so much energy and so much glory of God, or glory of trust, or glory of all things inside them, that they're not limited with where they are and who they are. And these people are rare. But for many of us, we have to sacrifice something in order to have something else, because we don't have enough trust in ourselves. With people, I feel one of the most important things to remember is that we can create anything that we imagine, but we have to start cutting things out. And I feel that September is one of those times where I feel many of us will have to be forced to cut things out in order to create things anew. And I'm not saying it has to be sore. I was talking to a friend of mine who I met recently here in Germany, and he's creating the future cities. He's working on the cities of the future, so concepts for human civilization of the future. And we had a talk, and he had something to say that I thought was really profound, is that humanity doesn't really have a bright future yet, because they don't know how to throw things out, they don't know how to dispose of things properly, they don't know how to let go in order to attain, and the theory of constant growth without anything lost is futile, because it's not natural. You have to lose some to gain some. So September is a perfect month for us to speak about this. I feel it's really basic. I feel it's really basic. I hope that during Leo time in August you must have conceived some type of idea about what you really want to be and what you really want to do. So for example, I'm a mother and I want to start a business selling jewelry and making jewelry. That's great. Okay, so what you want to do here is concentrate on your two priorities. For example, I have a child and I've got a passion. Cut out as much as you can. Cut out as much as you can. If it doesn't fit your passion and if it doesn't support your growth, it isn't yours. And even if your mother-in-law might think you need to become the best housewife, if your parents have trained you to become very interested in, like, say for example, science and music and philosophy, you only have one life. So anything is possible indeed, and we do have to choose. That's the thing, because to have a tidy experience, as you might see in Virgo, a tidy digestive system, a tidy job and a tidy mind, we have to stop listening to all these different sources and cut them out and put it down to basics. For example, for myself, I never thought I would travel. I never thought it would be like a lifestyle thing, and it is now. It's been a few months on the road, and it is not easy to imagine, but you have to make the steps. So for example, you want to travel, start giving things away. Give away almost everything you have. Give it away. Then you got to start walking. You got to start feeling what it's like to travel through your own city and through your own environment, just in order to conceive that idea as plausible. And then what you might want to do is start looking online, booking things, maybe considering sales, you know, tickets on sales and things that are feasible and believable. You don't have to do it alone, but you don't have to do it with another either. And that's the thing is, because people, I feel, forget. People get really frustrated with themselves that they can't cover all the bases that they think they should. Life should be really simple, and it should be really, really lively. And it feels to me that we are not there yet, most of us, that we can do a million things at once. There are people that can, and there's lots of us that have the power to generate enough energy to burn up so much light and so much karma really fast that we can just radiate multiple eclectic realities. And it's getting this way for myself as well, and for many, many people I know. But for many of us, oh, I want to go in here, cathedral. I'll show you. It's beautiful, this thing. But for many of us, yes, we have to stop and think about what we really want to do. And how to streamline is just to connect to yourself, and hopefully by the eclipse, and even after, by the 27th of August, you might have a really clear view. If you're somebody who gets annoyed and pissed off about things, that's okay as well, because what this means to me is that you're carrying too much and you're overloaded. So if you are generating a lot of hate and frustration during this time, is you might be believing new things about yourself, and you might be feeling new things about the world. It is okay. But the main thing is to streamline it. If there's frustration in September, as soon as it comes out, just voice it to yourself. Be honest about what you do and do not like in your life, and what you do and do not tolerate anymore, because some of us might be getting incredibly sensitive if we've been carrying a lot for other people and for ourselves as well. Things that we don't need to do. We have to cut them out. So in order for September to be clear and to be really, really graceful, it feels to me that it's really important to start seeing yourself and start seeing the basic thing, the baseline. And much of what I do is about helping people understand their astrology and the main baseline of who they are and where they're at, so they can concentrate on that. Like, for example, if somebody's a really good voice, like they have the voice, that is their thing, you know, and no matter what you do and how much you work manual jobs, it's not going to help, and money is going to avoid, because you're the voice. Or for instance, if somebody is kind of like the conditioner and the person who places people into some kind of like a perspective with a job, like for example a lawyer or a doctor, and you're really, really good with numbers and things, no matter if you want to be the biggest saint and the best Mother Teresa, that's where you're at. So you have to like go into your own frequency, and after you do that, after you face yourself, it's interesting because everything becomes possible. Say no energy eludes you, so it becomes really clear, and also you can do many different things at once, but that will come later. But if you are somebody who's not following your blueprint and not following your energy, it's hard. And yes, with time we can burn through our whole chart. We can burn through the chart and we can actually become somebody else. So it is like we become re-embodied in the same body, and we become kind of like the same person but the higher octave of that. So it's like jobless and useless. You don't have a use, you just have you. And that becomes really, really fun, because money is no longer a thing, work doesn't exist, strategy doesn't work, things to do with trying to impress people and trying to be in collective as a certain type of perpetrator of something doesn't exist. Like, things don't exist that they should, you know, like you think perhaps like even families don't exist. Things become a lot more moldable and a lot more, how can I say, enlightened, and that makes no sense now. You know, so if you're saying, but I got to work, I got a wife, you know, and I got to support my family, and if you're really stuck, it might show in September. But definitely try to be as streamlined as possible. And if you're noticing this little voice inside your head saying, oh, I really shouldn't, but I feel angry and I really don't want to do the dishes, and I really can't be bothered looking after this person right now, and I really do not think that I can really bother doing this or that. You might feel, am I a bad person? You know, am I an evil person because I don't want to do these things? No, it is just basically the voice of your truth coming out. And sometimes if we start on a solar eclipse, a whole like constellation of Virgo here, it might not make a lot of good news and it might not make you feel good, but the truth is starting to come out now. And sometimes when the truth is first coming out, it's kind of like a purge, and it sort of gets really dark and weird, and it feels kind of really awful. But it feels to me that it eventuates into truth that makes more than enough sense. Oh, of course. I mean, a lot of truths about me I thought were really awful before, and I was really ashamed for being who I was, and eventually sort of becomes just the truth and just becomes you, and you don't actually have to feel sorry or sad for having certain inclinations that you might feel are not appropriate for the age, because you might feel like, well, I just want to sit at home, that's not appropriate, I will be a bum if I do this, or like, well, I don't actually want sex, I don't want a relationship, how can I please my wife or my husband? Like, I don't know where to start. But really look at these frustrations that are coming up now, because I feel they will lead you to the greater you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.